Thank you very much for your patience while we get the slides on. I'll hand over now to Helmer Schweizer.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and welcome everybody. Yeah, Sarah and I do share this age of becoming presbyope about the same time, and so I do remember in Utrecht where I was talking about presbyopic lenses, and was just the start of my presbyopia. And it truly is something that is an experience in life, and the younger ones don't know yet. So I fully align with Sarah. So my topic today is about penetration of contact lenses in the world and how we can possibly grow that. And so the title in the book says The End Opportunity, and I will touch on this one. So I do declare my work. I do work for Alcon. I'm the president of Europe Contact, chairman of IACLE, and I do teach contact lenses in 2 schools in the Balkans, in Serbia and Croatia. So when we look at penetration, the question, of course, is what and how to measure. And Lyndon, in his talks at many BCLAs, made a lot of references. What matters, size and the other part. I'm not mentioning it here, but we're talking more about the way of, or the ability to understand things clearly and fully. So we need to have a product and we need to have a market in order to measure penetration. In our case, the product is very clearly contact lenses. Now, we can, of course, look at values and units, and this is what we do usually in industry, because it is about sales, it's about turnover, it's about market share. But when we come to penetration, we like to refer to wearers. How many users, how many people do we touch? How many people do actually use our product? But then again, you could say, well, I've just invented this Ortho-K thing, and I would like to know how many people are using Ortho-K. And you could do this by correction. How many people are today using multifocal torics or multifocal lenses? Very interesting, many years ago, how many people already in silicone hydrogels, now water gradient lenses? How many people actually sleep in their lenses? Is the market big enough? Is that something we would like to develop? Daily disposables, when they came to the market, they certainly changed the world, but we had to measure something, and we needed to know how fast is the acceptance in way of by penetration or replacement. So I do remember the time when we launched the frequent replacement lenses, the monthly lenses. A challenge for you is very often, and for us in industry, is where to find the data and what is the source of the data. And that is one of the reasons why you see often very conflicting numbers and information, because a lot depends on where did you pull the data from and what do you do with the data. How do you massage it? What do you do in order to show it? So we now look at the market, and the market, of course, could be the total population. But wouldn't it be nice if we would have the information of those that actually need the product, right? If we think about corrective lenses, it would make much more sense to say, well, I'm only interested in those that need a vision correction. Why would I measure penetration versus people that don't feel touched by this product? And that's a very difficult number to get to. You can get numbers on population, but vision correction needed is a very difficult thing. And we will see there is also a difference between vision correction needed and having vision correction. Because keep in mind, there is an option for those people that need, according to our beliefs, vision correction. There's an option to not have it. I'm a -4, I trust in dates, and I do my palming of the eyes, and I think I'm seeing wonderful. Why do I need a pair of glasses? Why would I need contact lenses? You say I need, I say I don't need. They have an option, right? So it's a definition thing, and we need to be very careful. Then, of course, as a corporation, you may want to look at the world, but then again, you may be continents, countries, regions, and it may be the penetration in your clinic, in your environment. How many of my people, my buyers, my customers do actually buy and get contact lenses? Now, of course, that makes it very small scale, and you do have to watch out. You cannot extrapolate and say in my shop I have 40% penetration, means the whole of Switzerland has 40% penetration. It's probably not good. But at least what is good, if you measure every year the same way, you got a trend data. Where am I going with the penetration in my small environment? Am I growing penetration? Am I losing penetration? Well, what kind of activities that I did the last years have helped me to grow penetration in my small universe? And maybe that is something you want to share with other people so they can actually do that. It's easy to do it for your own shop. Of course, it's much more difficult to do in a larger scale or bigger scale, and that's where inaccuracy comes in a lot. So you can go, and I learned this many years ago from Philip, you can go to CIA Fact Book, and you get for almost every country in the world, you get population data and economics data, and that's a very good thing if you want to just have population size, but then no information about vision correction needed. So Bureau of Census is another good thing. You can also go at wearer data and go to direct data. In Germany, every 2 or 3 years, they run a study called the Allensbach study, and they tell you the exact penetration. Well, exact. They give you a number, 4.3, 3.5. Now, they base this on 10,000 interviews, and then they extrapolate it to the population. They claim that the interviews are representative in age and income and region, etc. But still, if you take 10,000 people interviewed and you extrapolate it to 80 million people, any inaccuracy in your measure will explode. So there's a lot of difference there. You can use indirect data. And that is what we use, for example, in Urim Contact. We use a lot of indirect data, and I will show you how we do this. And I will come to this part here, which is also very interesting. You can use your own customer database, and I said this is not to be extrapolated. Important information is the trend that you're doing. So this graph you have just seen, and I want to use this graph to demonstrate the thing about vision correction needed and having vision correction. China. If we look at the number of vision correction having or needing, I think we all know that a lot of people are myope in China, right? So 31% vision correction needed. No, I don't think so. But they measure those that have vision correction. And in China, in rural areas, a lot of people don't have vision correction, even so they may benefit of it. And that's a prime example. In Japan, it's the opposite. A lot of people do need vision correction, and they have the means and the access and the awareness of vision correction, and they do have vision correction. I just 2 days ago told the little story. I was together with some people from Eastern Europe, and I do a lot in Eastern Europe. And the old Russian school of vision correction is the follows. You do today autorefracted data, out comes -4, -4, but the person that you have in front of you only gets a -2 per eye. You just take -4 + 2, that's enough. We undercorrect by 2. And cylinders below 2.0 we don't even think is important. It's an attitude thing, right? I mean, in our area, you hang a visual acuity chart, a young myope comes in, and I call it the Pavlov reflex of the myopes. When you have them for 10 years in your optical chair, they see a visual acuity chart, 1-0, 6/6, 20/20, right? It's not good if it's not achieving that. Our optometrists, ophthalmologists, opticians think the same. Every myope, at least 1-0 or better, 20/20, 6/6. So there are some things that are different across the world where you come from, and we have to respect this. Yes? This includes presbyopia, yes. Okay. So this is just an example for this. Here's another example. This is from these number of countries. This is total population. This is people having contact lenses or glasses and stopped wearing glasses, now wearing lenses, now only a dropout, to speak. And here, if you just take this one to this rate, so this would be the penetration rate of the total population, and this would be penetration rate of the vision correct. And that's the difference. And so when you hear penetration rate, you always have to ask of what is the basis? What do you do there? And so we need to kind of know this. This is another way of showing global data, and there's, as we know, fluctuation and inaccuracies, but it's fairly okay. The biggest market in point of penetration is Japan, then it's the US, Europe is kind of in the middle, Africa is totally at the end, and Latin America is on the rise, I may say. What we do in Eurocontact, we do syndicated market data. We collect information of products, of lenses being sold in units and value. And then what we do, we take the number of daily disposable lenses sold and we divide it by an estimated unit of daily disposable lenses per wearer per year. And we kept this number the same since Phil Morgan did our first study on this in 2003, and it is 350 lenses per wearer per year, 175 days of wear. And this gives us a estimated number of wearers. The accuracy in this case is very good because the number of units sold is very well measured. The inaccuracy could be in your assumption how many lenses per wearer per year. But if you keep those the same over 2003 to now published soon 2014 data, you get extremely good trend because you kept things the same. So you can actually show the trend and show the development. And whatever inaccuracy there is, if you have it every year, you have a very valid trend. And that's what we like to do there. So you can do the same for bi-weekly, monthly, conventional lenses, and then you add up all the number of wearers, and this is your total number of wearers, and then you divide by population. Again, Phil Morgan started this for Eurocontact in 2003, and we're limiting it to 15 to 64 years of age. In Europe, Central Europe at least, there are not so many children below 12, 14 years of age that are wearing contact lenses. And as we have seen, the penetration rate for people being above 60, 70 years is also very small. So in order to give a bit more accuracy, we are limiting the population age part here. If you want to then look at the number of vision corrected, you could take this one and divide it by 60%, and that gives you then the number for vision correction needed. So that is another estimation you could do. This is the latest data, it will be published very soon. We're a bit delayed this year, but in Europe we do have countries that are like the US and like Japan. Funny enough, it's all in the Nordic, and then there's Switzerland, there's Netherlands, UK, and this is what we do since many years, and we do it based on the calculation I just showed you. And we do have very good countries, but then we have even big countries that are not as advanced. And there is sometimes a bit of a change, but the sequence is usually very stable over the years. We do measure 33 countries, but we do compile 6 markets in 3 clusters, like Benelux, Belgium and Luxembourg, and UK and Ireland, and Czech and Slovak Republic. We cluster those 2. So that is what we do. These data will be published probably in the month of June, and it's available every year, 4 years, on the Eurocontact website. And you can see this. We have a publication. It's available every year. Here is a trend data I put together from 2003 to 2012. There was a split. In the past, we measured Nordic as one number, and then we split it out between Sweden, Norway, Denmark. That's why you see a bit of a gap here. And you can see an impact of the economical crisis in Europe, in some of the countries at least, if we look at this one here, and then it's coming back. But funny enough, contact lenses were fairly robust in penetration. The contact glasses sales, especially the sunglasses sales, were suffering a lot more. So we're fairly good on this one. When we look at fitting survey, Phil Morgan's famous survey that he published every year, it doesn't measure any units, any value. It doesn't measure any penetration, but it does give a prelude to changes in the market. So if we see now a sudden uptake of silicone hydrogels and a lot of new fits going into silicone hydrogels 3-5 years later, we will see it reflected in the market numbers. But it is information on behavior. It is not measuring units or wearers or values as such. Now here's an interesting thing that you may want to take home with you. This is a United Data website, And in that website, you can select your country, the years, and you can apply the filter. And this is how it looks like. It starts with Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, goes on and on. In many countries, you have years available. And you do put your mark here and here and here, and then you say apply filters. And what we do is this gives you numbers of lenses imported and lenses exported in value in dollars. It also gives us kilogram of lenses. I don't know what to do with that number, but maybe for the tax offices, that's important because you pay taxes by kilogram or weight, I don't know. But so I'm not using this data, but I use the value data. And it's in US dollars, so currency exchanges are not included. And then I take this one here and I divide it by an estimated average value for one wearer per year. Now this is import level, so it's the distributor who imports it, so you have to take a fairly low number here, and you have to make an assumption about the mix of dailies and monthlies and weeklies and conventional lenses. Usually in developing markets, it's a lot of monthly lenses or weekly lenses, not so many daily disposable lenses. So you can take a number. And if we do an example, and I took one from Albania, many of you don't know, it's a very small country on the Balkan, a very poor country, and I took 1 year, 2012, $72,000 import, no export, $80 value per wearer per year, 900 wearers in Albania. Extremely small number, but just for the purpose of demonstrating the way. Then you can also say we have 4 bottles of solution at $5 import value, and you can make an estimation of the care market. And this is how you can do every single market. And yes, I choose a market that is extremely easy to understand and very low numbers. But if you are, for example, as industry asked, would you like me to distribute the product of yours in this market? And you want to know, is there actually a market? That's a way to make an estimation. And also to find out, is the promises these people are making to you, we're going to sell millions? And you say, oh, I don't think so. The market up to now is minuscule. And you're telling me you're going to sell millions? I don't think so. So it's a way of verifying, and it's an interesting approach, and I leave it with you to take home and find out about your own country. And you can put, again, trend data. If you put here many years, then you can actually put a trend line, and you can see how the market is developing. And it's sometimes very interesting. Now, how to increase contact lens penetration? Very simple. If I pour more in that flows out, the number goes up. So I will talk about the inflow. Ian Davis is going to talk about how we can reduce the outflow. So if we do both, grow the inflow and reduce the outflow, our number even grows faster and more. But that's as simple as it is. The population is going to change independent of us. There is natural outflow. Yes, some people will not be here tomorrow anymore. Okay, but there's, of course, natural inflow because a lot of people become myopic and ask for contact lenses or possibly candidate for contact lenses. So one of the things I want to leave you with is, and we talked about this already over the last 1.5 days, you need to excite students. And you can do it the way like Pat Caroline does it. He was told that he's very enthusiastic. I hope you feel a little bit the same about me. I'm also extremely enthusiastic about contact lenses. When I talk about contact lenses, some people later on come up and say, you know what? You sound like a contact lens. You are a contact lens. And, you know, I am an absolute contact lens aficionado, right? So I'm 35 years contact lens wearer myself, and I will do everything, even as a presbyo, to be keeping wearing contact lenses. And I just enjoy contact lenses. So excitement is something. When I went to optometry school, contact lenses were the non plus ultra. Nowadays, of course, it's therapeutics, diagnostics, and all the other stuff. And contact lenses seem to have lost a bit of the excitement. So we need to do this one. I think as educators, we have maybe gone a bit overboard in seeing too many difficulties in contact lenses instead of opportunities. We're talking a ton of complication. When I go to ophthalmology congresses, they say, we want you to speak about complications. And I say, well, I mean, that's a small part of the contact lens world. Yeah, but it's extremely important. And they say, how about the many million happy customers in contact lens wearers? No, we only want to know about complications. And complications is bloody pictures, is ugly pictures, is not motivating. So for me, it's a bit difficult. I think my point of view is we need to understand potential complications. But what I really like to do is I like to say, this is a complication, but this is how you can prevent it, and this is how you can solve it. So first of all, we do an approach that we don't want to see it, and it does happen less. And secondly, if it still happens, here's how to solve it. And I think that's a very different approach to speaking about, well, this rules out this person for wearing contact lenses forever. Once this happened, cannot wear contact lenses again. So I'm thinking a bit about this. I think we should take the liberty to teach and train our students, and that's what I do at least, to say, do it right from the start. Give each patient the right lenses from the start. Disregard totally the cost. Just propose to them the best optimal solution and be behind that. Be convinced about this. And then you have to not rescue many things. If you are making a compromise in the beginning, often enough you start having it bad in there on. We think we should remind people and our students, why are people wearing contact lenses? Why did I, for example, start wearing contact lenses? Dwight mentioned sport was the same motivation for me. My girl is now 23 years old. When she turned 11, she said, Daddy, we have to go to your company. We have to check my vision. I'm not seeing well in the school. Yes, she was a -1 mile. Of course, we didn't have glasses in the company, and it was Christmas, and so she walked out with contact lenses. My wife was the first one saying, Helmer, it's our daughter. Are you sure you want to put her straight in contact lenses? Should she not wear first glasses? And is it really safe? It's our daughter. And I said, yeah, everything is going to be fine. And I took her through 2 years of daily disposables. And then I said, look, do like Daddy does. Wear night and day, 30 nights continuous. My wife again, sleeping in lenses. I heard you talking. No way. So, okay. But hey, contact lenses are great. And my daughter nowadays sometimes wears glasses. And then she comes back in the evening and says, you know, I'm wearing my lenses tomorrow again. It's just so much more freedom. She's a 4.5 mile. And she says, in glasses, they're okay, they're nice, but you know, I just don't feel free. And in contact lenses, I do feel free. So we do need to remind the people why like to wear and could wear contact lenses. We need to, and that is something where Sarah and I have a lot of things together and share a lot of ideas. We need to teach our students, and I heard it yesterday, to communicate. Talk, listen and talk. Tell the people, understand their needs. I'm in optical shops and I overhear people selling glasses while I wait for the ophthalmologist or optometrist to have time. And then I hear the patient saying, well, we need to hurry up. In an hour's time, I need to be on the tennis court. I'm meeting my friend for a tennis game in a very poor country in the world. And what does this guy do? Keep selling the glasses. What do? I say, while we keep selling the glasses, how do you do when you play tennis with your glasses? Oh, horrible. They slide down, they fog up, I'm losing every game. How about I help you winning more games? Have you ever thought putting contact lenses just for the game? And I put them in daily disposables, and guess what? 2 years later, they are more or less 100% contact lens wearers. We're not looking for science. We're trying to solve one thing at a time, selling the glasses, and we're not looking and ready to listen for the science. We have to help our patients to uncover patients' needs. What do you do in your spare time? I'm coming from a very cold country, Switzerland, mountains and snow. Contact lenses are great in snow. Glasses are not, right? They fog up. You have to have very special ski goggles to cover them. It's a horror. So we have to listen and tell them what is available. Here is a thing I like very much. there's not one lens type that does it all. There's not one lens geometry that does it all. As an eye care professional, a contact lens specialist, you are the maestro. And you have to use all parts of the orchestra. Ortho-K, mini-sclerals, dailies, lots of dailies, lots of monthlies. But we need the Ortho-K, we need the mini-sclerals. And we have to play the whole orchestra. We cannot just ignore that. And that's what you have to prepare them. Reality is we teach them a lot about specialty, and in reality in the market is 80% the simple, right? And then if you need to know more, sometimes you even have to go back to the textbook. What was it? How do I do this? Can we make an appointment? Will you come tomorrow again? Okay, now I know, right? And it's nothing wrong to do it because we're not doing every day. The end as well as, I happen to be the head of marketing and sales in the Swiss market when daily disposables were launched there. And daily disposables made the Swiss market and the Norwegian and the Swedish market explode. Because now, every morning, I woke up and I could say, well, I feel like contact lenses. Put the contact lenses. I felt like glasses in the morning, but in the afternoon, I went to the skiing slopes, I put the contact lenses. Every time I had the most convenient and easiest choice. And this as well as is going away from, you can have either contact lenses or glasses. And we should think more of the as well as. We like to have choices as people. We like to have different shoes, different dress, different hairstyle. Now you can have a choice about your vision correction. And that is where we have to think and work hard on that we have to do this. We should create the trust in the students about today's contact lenses. They're great quality products. We should teach them to make a strong recommendation. Sometimes I hear students saying, well, you're interested in contact lenses. Well, there are conventional lenses, there are rigid lenses, there are Ortho-K lenses, there are mini-scleral lenses, there are soft lenses, there are conventional lenses, there are triple twisted, double, triple silicone hydrogel, there are inotoric, there are outotoric, there are prism ballasted. Gosh, what? The patient doesn't know anything. What he is waiting for is, now your eye care professional, my absolute top recommendation to you is, boom. Why? Because it does this for you. Don't even mention the price. Okay, how much are they? This and this much. Per week, per day, per year. What's the alternative? Well, the alternative is this. Does this and this less? Cost this. Which one do you want? People don't want to be confused. Two strong recommendations, the top one and an alternative. That's it. And then you make the sale. You cannot turn a customer in 5 minutes into an optometrist. But that's what a lot of people do. This here makes individualized mass market devices. Carmen, the lenses we just fitted on your eye, I have selected them out of a huge variety of available lenses. We have tested them on your eye. We have tested the vision. I can fully support and sign that these are great lenses for you. Modality, material, all the way through. If ever you want to change, please talk to me, because then we have to make a very good decision which one are the next one lenses for you. You understand that? I individualized out of a mass market, internet available product specifically for Carmen. I can use contact lenses to sell my service, to sell me. Toric. Toric is easy. Who of you was around 30 years ago? Torics were horrible, right? Every box was different. Every lens in the box was different, if it was boxes. Now, they're as easy as fierce. No miracle anymore. The miracle is still a little bit in the multifocals. And why? Because the students are not presbyopic. They don't understand what we're talking about. If I think back when I became an optometrist, gosh, honestly, I have to say I was lying. I was selling to presbyopes Verilux 2 glasses and say they are the best thing since sliced bread. Did I have a clue what I was selling? No way. Only since I'm myself presbyope, I know what it means. But yeah, I was selling. I was the hot seller of Verilux in our shop, but I had no idea what I was selling. Right? So that's something, okay? I like to instill into my students, be creative, be imaginative. Use all things. One eye a toric, one eye a multifocal, one eye a sphere, one eye a toric. I mean, whatever. Just combine things and find a solution. It's all about finding a solution, an optimal solution, possibly. Dwight showed the figure already. This was in 2002 in the UK. This is penetration among the young ones. Bloom, fading off. He called it the cliff. You can call it the ski jump, but it goes into the nirvana. And here is again these countries here. You can see penetration rate of contact lenses shrinking while vision need goes up, right? A ton of people that we could maybe serve, and who do we reach? Nobody. So that is where we really need to want to go. Contact lenses, if Shelley Benson would be here today, he would say it made them, going in the subscription made him a rich man, because every first of the month comes money to the bank. The more subscriptions you have, the more loyal customers you have. It's the best way to defend against internet sales. Subscriptions and service. Split the fee about service. I like contact lenses to demonstrate the service and the quality thereof, and you should charge about it. Talk about ease, taking lenses while you select glasses, -8, +6. What do these poor people do when they select the frame? They ask everybody in the shop, what do you like those? How do they look on my eye? Give them contact lenses, let them select, faster, more money, and a contact lens sale in the end as well. So that's something. We talked about yesterday about sag and diameter and base curve. I made it a rule to myself, everybody gets a contact lens on the eye. And then I check centration, movement, vision, and if one thing is not satisfactory, okay, what do I need to change? Material, whatever, modality, and I try to find the next solution. And I accept that I have sometimes failures. But none of my people walks out because I told them you are not suitable. I let them experience. And the more you do this, the more you find cases that you think unbelievable, and it works. And we all have cases where we think, oh, it's gonna be easy. Crash into the wall. It was not easy. There is some kind of things that didn't work and we don't know why, and it's the most complicated case we ever had. But it looked on paper the most simple one first. Practical experience. Get them touching patients, get them putting lenses. So that's really what we need to do. Here's a study from 1997 from Sally Dillahay. She was sending 95 existing wearers, successful wearers, to the optometry schools in the US. 0 of them were recommended contact lenses. They were instructed not to mention that they were lenses. They were instructed not to ask for lenses. 0 of them were recommended lenses. She sent 87 of them again, and this time they were instructed to inquire, and yet not all of them, only a part of them, 62 were rescheduled and were given lenses, and a lot of them were actually told, nope, your power is out of range. Your power is out of range. Sorry, where we do? Well, it's one slide missing. Your power is out of range. Refractive surgery is even better for you. Contact lenses are not convenient. Contact lenses are most costly. They were totally discouraged. And Janice, you saw already your name up here, right? You did a similar study. She looked at 1,252 clinical records of third-year students, and they were looking for the rationale while not recommending, and 587 were recommended, but 674 were not. And then here were the reasons. Whenever you ask ophthalmologists, optometrists, why are you not wearing lenses? Oh, I have dry eye. I have super duper dry eye. I have the most driest eyes in the world. Oh, I have astigmatism. Oh, I'm presbyope. All kinds of things coming up, right? We're not even using it for ourselves. Systemic disease, age. 18%, the clinician forgot to suggest them. Oh, sorry, now that you tell me, this is crazy. How can a third-year optometry student have fear of touching a patient's eye, right? What profession are you in? What are you doing? when you put people behind this slit lamp. No, I don't call it slit lamp. I teach my students to call it, with very good pronunciation, biomicroscope. Bio, 50 euros down. Microscope, another 50. We use microscopes. We don't use slit lamps. Horrible word. It's not selling, it's not marketing. So we need to do something about this. So I come to my conclusion here, and the thing is, we need to continue gaining new words. And the good thing is, every year there are more myopes and new myopes coming while we lose people on the other side. We need to make sure that we're addressing the aging population, which is different in certain countries. In Middle East, for example, in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, the average age of the population is much lower than in Central Europe. So in Central Europe, our problem is aging population, means presbyopes, means multifocal lenses. So we need to do more on this side. We need to increase awareness among all age groups. We need to convince parents that teens and tweens are great for contact lenses. We need to increase confidence of our students. Contact lenses are not difficult. Yes, there are sometimes issues, but we have solutions. We don't want to tell you just by the size of your nose and the distance of your pupils, you're a good candidate for contact lenses, and you are not. Everybody gets a chance to have contact lenses. And then they find out by themselves if that's good or not. We need to innovate, use innovative products, and we need to see contact lenses as an opportunity. And the next talk we're going to hear from Ian Davis is about stopping the outflow. I do hope that was inspiring. We're going to have Ian's talk. Sarah is going to introduce him, and then we're going to have questions on both of us after.